What's going on, everybody? Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the Chef. I'm joined by my co-host this evening, or this morning, I
This
should say, because I
morning.
feel like this morning. Yeah, you see, I'm mixing my times up. I'm so used to what's going on in the evening time.
Anyway, it's Diva Locks 21. What's up?
Happy Saturday. The Knicks just wrapped up their West Coast trip. They went 3-1, which is not bad. I know you had them at 4-0. I believe I had them at 3-1. I had to go back to the tapes. I meant to go back and see what were my predictions. What we do is we typically go over our predictions for the next like 3 or 4 game stretch. And Diva Locks is very optimistic. You're pretty good at saying this is what it's going to be, and this is my predictions for the next few games. And I thought the Knicks actually did pretty well on the West Coast trip. And to be honest, I think the last game that they played, which was against Denver, where the Knicks lost that game 100-113. So it wasn't too bad of a loss. The Knicks were actually pretty in it in that game and had Denver on their heels. Um, I would have liked to see the Knicks take that game, though, not just because we beat Denver before, but it would have been nice to see the Knicks take that and get that win. But I thought overall that was a pretty well played game from the Knicks. Just a couple of minute mistakes, but any takeaways from that Denver game for you?
Yeah, it, that's my echo. It was pretty much definitely a successful road trip West Coast. You know, prior to that loss, they did win four. That was that last game they won before they went on that road trip. So overall, although Salute Ebony, I did have him at 4-0 because that's the optimist in me, but Joker, this guy, he's a tough cover.
Yeah,
Hartenstein even alluded to it, how he used to practice against him when he was on Denver. And he said, this he's a hard, matchup. So, and he was in it, for the most part. We got some contribution at Allerbergs. Woohoo! This is what we was waiting on. Let's hope maybe we get something today. You never know. But
hmm,
it was nice to see him come out that slump and give us 18. Um, you know, like I said, throughout the injuries, the Knicks are playing well considering, they're banged up. But relief is coming. We all know that. But just and Denver, these guys, the Knicks lacked size when it came, up to Denver, match
yeah,
Denver, body for body. So for what they've accomplished, and it wasn't a blowout. 13 points, that's not a blowout. And they were in it until Denver went on that 9-0 run because at one point, remember, they did cut it to two.
yeah,
Mike Malone, he's like a Tibbs. He called that timeout. He did that timely substitution. So for the most part, yeah, I wanted them to win, and I was hoping, and that's why I did 4-0. But there's no reason to hang their heads. They are a team that thrive on their motto is grit, grind, hustle, resiliency and defense. So your hats off to the Knicks. I was just hoping they win, but they lack size for the most part. And I think that was, their kind of what's the word I'm looking for? So some people say that's their Achilles heel, but hey, they beat them once and they can do it again when they're healthy. So, but it was a lot of good takeaways overall, though.
yeah.
So
I thought for me, and I understand that some players, some nights, some players are going to be off. It's not going to be their night. But to me personally, I think if we would have got a little bit more production from Dante DiVincenzo, who only gave us 11 points, Josh Hart had a very
Josh
quiet
Hart,
night. He only had 2 points, 3 rebounds. Um, I thought if those two guys and even Bogdanovich, who only had 3 points, I think if we would have had a little bit more from those three, the Knicks could have pulled out this win. Um, coupled with the lack of height missing from, you know, being able to gather rebounds and things like that. One of the things that I noticed too, and it may be me just be nitpicking because, I always have to find something, but it was kind of bothersome that every time Denver would score, no one was going to take the ball out. It was always Miles McBride having to take the ball out. Why? It's like no one wanted to take the ball out because normally it'd be like Hartenstein or whoever else they take the ball out. And they're usually really quick about that. Like when the Knicks were bad, when the Knicks weren't a good team, remember like nobody would take the ball out or they were so slow at taking the ball out. Like, getting the ball and then to put it back in bounds. And Denver game, I don't know why, but every time somebody scored, I was like, well, who's gonna take it? Was like no, everybody was running down the other end of the floor.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. See, I think that was designed because of Denver and the team that they are. So I think Tibbs designed that for them to do hustle back, on offense, so they can, run the offense. Hartenstein can get down and set up. Because he know who's going to be down there. Joker's going to be now, or there's another big body. So I think that was designed. You got to realize, the offense is designed for different teams. So that was probably a scheme that maybe Tibbs designed up. Y'all go back down there and set up the offense. So I think that was for that particular team. Sometimes we see it. Maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah, yeah. And I think shout out to Ebony. She said that Denver altitude might have took its toll on us.
Yeah.
And I think that could be mixed with it because when the Knicks also played Utah, that was the issue when we went to Utah. The Knicks didn't play well. But then when Utah and Denver played home at MSG, the Knicks took care of business. And it's not to say the Knicks aren't a good on the road team because they are, but I just felt, I don't know, I just felt like the Knicks, to me, I didn't think that it was a horrible game overall. I thought it was a pretty well game. I thought the Knicks had Denver on their toes. I just think that we were missing key guys. I thought that they did well without having Randall, Mitch, OG not there. And considering, like I said, Dante DiVincenzo, this wasn't really like a great scoring game from him, considering we know he can give you between 18, 20, 23 points in a night. So for him to only have 11 was a little concerning for me for the night, not moving forward, but just for that particular game. And then Josh Hart as well. I'm like I said, I don't expect Josh to give you a triple double, but like even only 3 rebounds, like that's a quiet night for Josh Hart.
Hmm.
And then McBride, I'm not going to put pressure on McBride. He's also juggling between I'm still being a student of the game, I'm learning, I'm being a backup point guard, and then I'm still trying to do my thing as a player. And then Precious Achua has still been pretty quiet. Do you know why? Like, do you have any reasoning behind why you feel like he's been kind of quiet these past like 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, he's fell into like kind of a slump, for the last few games. It's a player's mindset. You never, know where it's at. Is it because, when OG came back, but he did play, alongside him, you know, you don't know where their mindset is at because, he's still getting playing time. He's not, playing as much. So I this is not a time to fall into no slump, that's for sure. So,
Exactly.
it's hard to figure. We'll see, how he do today because we definitely know OG's not playing tonight, this afternoon. Um, I think
Yeah.
like I say, he's requested to sit out. So, maybe, we can get a better sense of, and a better feel of his play today. Let's hope he can give, some needed, offense because, at this juncture, every game counts, so not sure, what to make of that.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of plateaued. I'm not concerned though. I just don't know what that's
Yeah.
about. I need him because Isaiah Hartenstein kind of this happened to him, but I feel like the last two, 3 games he's rebound and we see that energy that Hartenstein has brought back. And I thought Denver, he played really well. They really kept him open. He got into his spots. He got a lot of easy buckets. Jalen Brunson did a great job finding him right under the basket. He finished with 20 points, 8 rebounds, so he's very close to a double double, 3 assists. And I thought he did his best of what he can do against Jokic. I think Isaiah Hartenstein has proven he can play great defense against bigs. He's done it against Embiid. He's done it against Rudy Gobert. Like he's done it against other guys in the league who are solid players. Um, but I just think that again, it makes you wonder like a game like Denver, that's where you miss Mitch being in because he
Sure.
could have
Yep.
taken some of that load off of Hartenstein and Hartenstein could have got some rest and then Mitch played in. Mitch is very strong. He has a strong defensive presence that he could have had inside and against Jokic.
That's why I said like games like that, Hartenstein, again, you're not taking anything away from Hartenstein and Mitch because they're both two different players, but you wonder like games like that if Mitch when he's in, you know,
Right.
these guys are not gonna come down and because they're gonna meet him at that rim. So it just like it just makes you wonder, just the impact that he would have made in that game. Like I
Exactly.
said, just what he does offensively and defensively, you know, um, and so these are games that if he would have been there, not that he's the save, nobody's a saving grace for the team, but what their impact is what
Mhm.
is important, and what the contribution that they can make, just the second chance points. So um like I'm just like, yeah, I know when he come back, and that's why I think they're gonna wait, to roll him out at a home game, just so he could just get that standing ovation, which is rightfully deserved,
Mhm.
because he's missed so much, and he wants to be like any play, he wants to be there, and be on that floor. So I'm just like, I'm excited because it's like we need the help, and Hartenstein's been playing a
Yeah,
lot of minutes. He could Mitch gonna definitely make his mark, when he do come back. So it's just like so excited that when he do come back. Too bad he's not coming back today.
I know. But again, you know how I feel. Like I don't want to rush any of these
Yep.
guys back. Mitch, OG, Randall. I feel like if they can play maybe the last 5 games, then I'll be happy with that. 3 to 5 games, great. But I think until now, this roster just has to figure out how to win without those guys, and I believe they can do it. So, I'm like, I'm big on the let's not rush them. But I thought the Knicks only had 9 turnovers against Denver. They did have 6 blocks, 28 assists. Denver had 31. They did pretty good free throw wise. Field goals, they was at only at 48%. Points in the paint, that's where they completely got beat. The Knicks were at 46, Denver were at 66. And that's something that the Knicks, to me, are going to have to get back to. The points in the paint is way too low. When you going into the playoffs, that 40, 42, it's not going to cut it. Teams are just going to outbeat you. But again, that's where, like we were just saying, that's where you're going to miss. Mitch is going to come in place and you're going to need him because teams are just having their way inside against the Knicks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but I think at the same time, stopping teams from having their way in the paint is one thing and having that impact. And the Knicks do a great job doing that once Mitch comes back. But I think on the other side of that, the Knicks have to get back to getting points in the paint as well. Like that's one of my biggest concerns with the Knicks moving forward in the postseason. I don't want them to settle just for shooting outside threes all the time. Like it's okay to bring the ball in way past the 3 point line and shoot shots and make them in. You know what I mean? So that's one of my biggest things for that. But the Knicks are back at home. They are playing their next four games at home, starting off kicking off tonight against Brooklyn at 1. So it's an early matinee game. Then they play, so they're playing every 2 days. Then they play again Monday against Detroit. They play again Wednesday against Toronto, and then they play against on Friday against the Spurs. Um, I think that the Knicks, first of all, that loss to Denver put the Knicks at fifth because we kept saying how Orlando has been on the Knicks' butts in the standings in the East. Um, Orlando won against New Orleans, so that put them ahead of the Knicks while the Knicks lost to Denver. So Orlando's now in fourth, the Knicks are in fifth. Um, but with these next four home games that the Knicks are playing, to me, it's crucial that the Knicks win these games, not just because these teams are all um, not good teams that are not playing well this season, but I think because of the standings, I don't think it's so much about that. I'm focused so much on how many wins the Knicks are going to finish with, but I think where they finish for this season matters and where their matchups are in the postseason. So I think that the Knicks, we already said it that these last, I think they're down to 13 games now. They matter. Each win is going to matter. Um, And I think that the Knicks have to do a really good job at, especially these next four. They have to win these next four. Like, there's no reason why you should be losing to Brooklyn, Detroit, especially. You beat Toronto, and then the Spurs you already beat. Um, you know, so yeah, I actually know the next two. It looks like the next two games are home,
Yeah, home. And then they
and
go back
then
on the road.
yeah, the Knicks play Toronto at Toronto, and then they play San Antonio in San Antonio. So my correction, but it doesn't matter whether they were all home, they were all away. The Knicks should be able to win these next four games for sure. These are teams that are beatable, and I don't think that the Knicks go in with the focal point of no matter how good or bad a team is playing during the season, we're trying to win all games. But it's the opposite for other teams who have nothing to lose and they're looking to try to win these games. But do you think that these next four games they're non-negotiable? The Knicks have to win these games.
Oh, for sure, definitely. At this juncture of we coming at the tail end. All games matter, and you know, it's imperative that they win. Um, not like you said, not so much as get 50 to 49 at this rate. At 47, it's just where they for the most part, like land. Like you said, Orlando's, jumped in front of them. So now the Knicks fell to the fifth seed. So, I mean, if they can just, go on a tear and, stack some wins and, possibly, move up to the third or anything, because, the Cavs can, lose some games. If they lose some, then, it gives the Knicks, some opportunities to move up to the third. So yeah, all games matter at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I think the next four games are definitely non-negotiable. I think the Knicks have to win these games, just because I said it before, like maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago. The Knicks, we can blink, and as fast as one blinks, you'll look and the Knicks will end up being in like sixth or seventh real quick. So it's important that the Knicks really monitor how many wins that they're getting for the remainder of these 13 games that they have left. Just because the Knicks don't want to find themselves, having to face a tougher opponent, especially also in the first round. Like, let's get past the first round. And it's going to be challenging each round, no matter what. I think that's the whole point of the playoffs. It's a different intensity. It's a different ball game when it comes to the playoffs. But I just think that the Knicks have to win these games. It's important that they win these games. It's important that you stack some wins, get some wins under your belt. And you know, I think the way the East is set up, the Knicks can end up facing Orlando or possibly the Cavs if they slip and go down. So right now, the Knicks are 41-28. They're sitting in fifth. They're 3.5 games behind Milwaukee. They're 2 games behind Cleveland. They're a half game behind Orlando, who are sitting in fourth. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Pacers, who are sitting at six, and they're 3 games ahead of both the seventh place Miami Heat and Philly, who's sitting in eighth, who just keeps slipping further and further back. I'm not concerned that that's going to happen with the Knicks. I don't think that the Knicks are going to slip that far back, but I don't really even want to see the Knicks go past fifth. I think if the Knicks can get themselves back in fourth and possibly third, great. But I don't even think the Knicks really want to get in fifth or sixth, if you ask me. I just don't think that that's something that they should, do. Um, but their next 10 games are, yeah, upcoming 10th games, the Knicks have like one of the easiest schedules in the league. I think theirs is like sitting at 10th in easiest amount of opponents that they're going to be playing in the league. So, I don't think that that should necessarily mean like, oh, the Knicks are going to win all these games. I did say when the Knicks had 16 games left, I had them winning 10 of those out of those 16. Um, she said that's where we miss Randall help getting into the paint. Yeah, because
Definitely.
right now the only player that's getting into the paint really is Brunson.
Yeah, that's what I was
Brunson,
saying. I said you missed that, just Randall being down there, down low, doing playing that bully ball. So that's what that's what I was saying when I saw Ebony's thing, and I was thinking, I said, yeah, this would have been a good game, to have Randall and Mitch. I truly think that the outcome would have been a whole lot different.
salute Corey Lee. Queens is in the
Salute,
building.
Corey.
Butcher's coming. Yeah. We can't wait to see when he comes back and when Mitch does and his impact that he's going to make on his team. Um, I guess we're hearing those stats as far as like the scheduling. Like I said, I have the Knicks winning 10. They should be winning at least 10 of the games. You think that's achievable?
Definitely, but they definitely need to get today's game under their belt. Let's just hope they don't come out flat. They didn't get back into what yesterday, what your Friday, you know, from they got to get into practice. So I'm just hoping they don't come out flat you know, and play some up tempo and don't let Brooklyn try to shoot the lights out of them and take advantage because they know they're just coming back from that 4-game West road trip and this is where Brooklyn could take advantage. They have nothing to lose. They're on a 5-game losing streak, so they would love to continue
Exactly.
finish sucking the air out of the Knicks and and withhold them from the standings. But as far as the next few games, if they could get this one under their belt, give them a chance to, put some, that the Denver loss behind them. Um, yeah, I have them definitely, possibly taking, this game, the next four for sure. Miami, they trying to make their little run, but
Hmm.
we outside of the playoffs, the Knicks, I think they beat, they have beaten Miami. So it's nice. That's gonna be a nice matchup. But I definitely have them to have taken these next four for sure. Um,
Yeah, definitely have them. I have them taking the next four. We do play Brooklyn again April 12th.
mhm.
So that's our second to last game. We play Chicago 3 times. We play them on the 5th, the 9th, and again on the 14th. So the Knicks are playing Chicago 3 times before the end of the season. We do play Miami on the second. We play Boston and Milwaukee one more time. And same thing with Sacramento. We play them one more time. So
And
again, Chicago three times. Chicago's a pretty, you know, they're not going to let the Knicks rest. So the Knicks have to try to, I mean, if you can get all three against them, great, but at least two out of the three.
yeah,
And then we play OKC March 31st. I would like to see the Knicks beat OKC because they're one of the teams that I had, including Boston, that the Knicks have yet to beat. And OKC is a really good team. They're a young, great team. It's not even just because SGA, like they have some guys on that team, and the Knicks have struggled against OKC. So I would like to see the Knicks get that win. I think that would be a great statement win for them to have under their belt. Um, you know, to pull off against a team like OKC that I believe that the Knicks can truly beat. And for me, I think the other game that I'm really looking for the Knicks to win is the last game, not the last game, but the last time we played Boston, which is on the 11th. Just because the Knicks haven't beat Boston yet, and we played them what three times already.
yeah.
We haven't beat them, so the Knicks have to figure out how a way to beat Boston. I think that like hopefully I'm hoping by the time the Knicks play the Celtics, we will only have two more games left. So I'm hoping by the time we get to that game, we can have Randall and Mitch back.
And OG.
Yeah,
He's just, you know, they're just, I guess, just waiting for him, to just, get, he'll never be 100% though. From it, there's gonna, be some sort. It's just a matter of, his pain tolerance, because I
I'm
don't
talking
think
about
he'll, um, be 100%. But if he could, withstand the pain or whatever and tolerate it, he's definitely an asset, to the team. Just what he brings, he's like our Mitch, just defensively, So it would be nice if we could get all three of them back. But with Randall, I'm like, yo, take your time because you definitely don't want it, get hurt. So, if these guys could just, like Pat said, just keep building on that chemistry, you know, and win, without them, you maybe hold out until, the first round, or whatever. But I'm definitely, I'm like you, I'm all for health. Come back when you are healthy and ready and not rush it.
yeah. I think the good thing is that I think the Knicks have found their chemistry. I think with this roster, there's still a few guys who's trying to find the rhythm and the chemistry within this team.
Yeah.
But I think I can applaud this team for remaining above 500, for remaining in top four, top five in the East, which is not easy to do considering all the injuries that they've been enduring. I mean, left and right, man down situations. I think the biggest thing is health for the remainder of the season and guys remaining healthy because you know, you need a Josh Hart, you need a Dante DiVincenzo, you need Jalen Brunson. You're gonna need. I think that players like Burks and Bogdanovich, what Burks did in Denver, can be crucial in a playoff series.
For
I
sure.
think I think Burks and Bogdanovich and even McBride can be those X factors that teams are not going to worry about, and they can give you 20, 25 easily that can help contribute when the defense is so focused on a OG Randall or Brunson. Those guys can come in, and then now when you have Mitch coming in, him and Hartenstein can. And you know what? I think with Mitch coming back and Randall coming back, I think that it'll take a little less pressure off of Precious, because Precious is having to play the five position, and he's not tall enough, and he just seems to be getting beat up. He's trying his best. You know what I mean? I love the effort, but I think that he's not able to get, I don't want to say in the rhythm, but like he's not really able to get to his spots because he's having to play that position. And I don't think that five position is really for him. I think he's more so that four position. Um, so yeah, I think that I don't know. We'll see what what's gonna happen with that whole situation. But the Knicks play Brooklyn tonight. Brooklyn is 26 for 40, 26 at 44. Haven't been playing well at all. Um, it's a shame that we can't get Mikel, but Brooklyn's not letting him go because they're gonna try to, I guess, whatever, make whatever miracles they can happen for next season. Um, but the Nets have the longest losing streak out of all the teams in the NBA currently. So this is why I'm saying the Knicks need to win this game. Don't allow them to get a win tonight. Um, who do you think the Knicks need to watch out for tonight?
Nobody. I'm just kidding. No. Well, you got Cam, you know, is it they got two Cams, Johnson both and the other Cam and Macau, but if the Knicks fan base show up like they previously did, it kind of takes the of from the Nets, because like Michaela said on their roommates podcast, he said it was really disturbing to hear all the Knicks, fans at your home court. So um if they can show up and show out, that'd be to the Knicks' advantage. But for the most part, you you can't take no play for granted because again, the Nets have nothing to lose at this point.
Right,
Junction. They would definitely, to take this win, from the Knicks, even at the Garden. Oh, yeah, excuse me. Well, they are playing at the Garden. I'm thinking they're playing in Brooklyn, but you know but they would love nothing more to take this game, definitely, at MSG, because we know what the Knicks did at Barclays, how and the fan base showed up for the Knicks. But
right.
you got to watch. No player you want to take for granted. So I think no players off limits to watch. It's just the things that they need to do. They had 9 turnovers. If they could keep it at a minimum right there, um, that's a great start. Move the ball because in Denver they try to, but Denver also has some clean passes too. Um,
Yeah.
you know, guard the perimeter. They got guys that's gonna hit the three. Um, and then we're gonna need contribution. If Burks let that carry over. I like to see Precious get into a groove. You know, uh, Dante and Josh. Those three guys I definitely would like to see get off to a great start. And but for the Nets, I right now no play. You need to watch them all for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. One thing I noticed when the Knicks play Brooklyn, it reminds me of when the Knicks played Detroit. I don't know why the score is always close. Even when we
Mhm.
had Randall and he was healthy, even last year it was like that. I'm like, why can't you ever blow the Nets out? I never understood that with the Knicks. Like when they play Detroit and they play Brooklyn, the score is always so close. I'm like, what is going on? Why is the score always so close that the Knicks can't just go up by 20, 15, 20 and hold on to that and just finish them off?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm hoping with the Knicks back home, that momentum carries over, that this game needs to be high energy. You need more than Josh Hart with the high energy. I do want to see the ball movement moving around. When the Knicks make that extra pass and guys play that unselfish ball, they're really successful.
Yeah.
Because I noticed there's times where by the time it gets to maybe that second, third pass, that guy who catches that pass, he can shoot it if he want. He's open because of the Knicks, the way they move the ball. But when that guy makes that extra pass and finds a McBride in the corner or Josh Hart in the corner or whoever, it works. It works because I'll look and I'm like, wow, he could have taken that shot. But when that third pass gets to whatever player and they decide I'm gonna just make one more pass, somehow it works in our favor. So if the Knicks can get to that, I don't want to see it like a chippy game. We're trading baskets. Knicks score, net score, Knicks score. Now I don't want to see the game being played like that tonight. I need the Knicks to just like put their foot on Brooklyn's necks, don't let go, and just run away with it. And I want to see it like that so that way Tibbs could sit Brunson down early in the fourth, give him some rest, let Miles McBride play. This is Burks and Bogdanovich chance to come in, step in, and make something happen. Like, let us see what you can do. Brooklyn Nets, they've lost their last 5 games. They can't buy a win. And I don't think that they should be able to get a win tonight. This is for the Knicks for the taking. And like I said, especially these next 4 games, they're very critical that the Knicks get these wins. And especially being at home. Like you've been on the road. Fans have been waiting for you guys to come back home. Let's get this win. I agree. I think Precious Achua definitely needs to be able to find his groove today. And I also hope that the energy is there because sometimes when the Knicks play early, the energy is a little low. It's not as high as it should be if they were
Yeah.
playing at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I hope that, guys got enough cup of coffee, tea, they ate a good breakfast, they're ready to come out and, get this win. And then in the third quarter, stay with that energy. I don't want the Knicks giving up any lead if they have it. Um, so yeah, I want to see the Knicks pull off a win tonight. To me, it's inexcusable if they lose. I'm not gonna hold sugarcoat anything. Like tonight's game and the next 3 after that, the Knicks must win because I've seen people in the chat say, "Oh, it's not really about the Knicks getting 50 wins." And like I said earlier, I'm not focused on how many wins. I'm focused on where the Knicks are in the standings. They're not in second and maybe they could afford to slip to third or fourth. Now you're in fifth. So you got to hope either Cleveland starts losing a couple of games or Orlando loses a few and slip up. Because Milwaukee's on their A game and Boston, we already know they clinched. So, I just think that the Knicks have to do what they need to do. This year's Randall is far better than ever before. Yeah, this is Randall's best year.
He said he got hurt.
It is. It's tough to see that, Randall got hurt and hurt himself when he was at a peak. And I don't think it was just I think when I say Randall got better, I'm looking at it at a standpoint of his overall game. Like we know you could score, but I think that it was like the timing of his shots, the decision making, the
Yeah.
passes better. And I know someone said, and I've seen this on shout out to Nothing But Nick, Sim and Tony were on, and someone called in and he said something that someone said in our chat. He said, "Oh, I'm concerned when Randall comes back, the decision making that Randall's gonna do." He said, like his passes. For me, it's that stupid up in the air. I want to make a pass while I'm in the air. And I wish Randall had that instinct like a player like Brunson and some other guys when they're driving, they're just going to go after it. They're going to try to make the basket. Randall pulls it out, and now he's that split second I have to just pass to whoever I see on the outside and,
Mhm.
whatever. But I think this year Randall showed a lot of growth, even mentally. I think that there was less arguing with the refs. We saw him smile, crack smiles on the court. getting the crowd engaged after he made a nice dunk or, a easy layup on a fast break. So I think it's just collectively a whole ordeal of like seeing his game come to like a huge amount of growth that we've seen. So, I give him kudos for that. And I think, like I said before, it's a case of him having a big ordeal of trust and him trusting other guys on the floor with him. And that is what I think that is what helped him. You know what I mean? Like having that trust with his teammates. And it is a shame that he endured this injury. But I think with Randall coming back, I think that he's been able to like sit and watch the team play. And sometimes that helps because you can see, like, okay, when I come back, this is where I can implement myself and this is what I can do when I'm on the floor, or this is where they need help. This is where I see I need to be, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. But I think that I don't think that Randall's going to go to those old habits and ways before he started to really transition this season and really take his game to another level. So I don't think that, I don't know. What about for you? Do you see Randall? Are you concerned that maybe the decision making? I'm not, again, I think you and I on the same page. It's not necessarily his game. I think it's the decision making some people have an issue with, or they have a concern that maybe those decisions, the poor decisions, may cost us not necessarily the game, but possessions, turnovers. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
just hope he's not just like overthinking, you
Hmm.
know, and and thinking that he has to do this as opposed to do that, and like you said, just make the smart like decision when you're on that court, and not overthink it because when players when they tend to come back from injuries, they and he's gonna be out of sorts and out of rhythm, probably in the beginning, and but let's just hope he don't overthink it, just make that the overhead pass or sloppy pass, and and again, just build. Your teammates are there. You're gonna have to have that trust, and make that smart pass, and just know that, and don't force it. Also, you
Hmm.
know, just have believe that your teammates have your back. That same mindset you had before that injury, well then continue that on, because like you said, he gotten better. Just overall his game has really developed. So I'm just like you said, just the passing and things like that. But yeah, let's just hope he comes back and just don't overthink things, and I feel like you have to force certain plays and things like that, and look for the open man, and and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think the chemistry is already there. Yeah, I agree, Parrish. I think Randall does know his role. And I think most guys on this team know their role. I think that the only two guys that are still trying to fit in is Burks and Bogdanovich, and especially Bogdanovich. I think he can offer a lot to this team. I'm still trying to put my finger on, is it, and right now I'm at a 50-50. That is half Bogdanovich, the other half, I think it's Tibbs and the way he's coaching, or rather, he's navigating the offense when he puts Bogdanovich in. I don't think that, because I look at, if it was other coaches in the league and they had a pure shooter like Bogdanovich, they would have the offense not necessarily ran around that guy, but they would make sure he's in certain spots within the court so he can get his shot off.
And he
And
gets
when I watch Bogdanovich on the offense on the Knicks, he's he's not necessarily near the defense. He's just not in open spots most times to be able to get the shot off that he wants. And he does a great job, not to take away, because I've seen him take some tough baskets. Like, and it's just pure the way his shot goes down so clutch. And I'm just like, wow, like that was a tough shot that he took. It's nice that he's able to get that quick release off, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at the where he is on the offense and I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to put my finger on like why we are not he's not more of an option. You know what I mean? Considering our offense, the spacing is there. You know, we don't clog up the floor. Guys are able to make a few extra passes around the floor or back around the other way so we can get the open shot or someone can drive. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully tonight that we can be able to see that. That would be great to see, but we'll see. You know, I think today's game is also a great game to see the Knicks implementing. I would like to see if Hartenstein gets the ball at the free throw line, guys cutting to the basket, and he can make those passes. More screens being done if Sims gets some playing time. You know, seeing him do that. And like I said, I definitely want to see Pressure step up, Burks, Bogdanovich, and McBride. And, you know, we'll see what happens along those lines there. But yeah, I think, you know, again, it's no reason why the Knicks should be losing this game. I'm I don't even want to put that in the air, but it's just inexcusable for any. There's no room for error, I think, in these next four games.
For sure. And like I said, I just hope that they come out with some energy and not flat, and hope that fatigue didn't, set in whatever the jet lag being that they got back yesterday. Of course, they got to get into practice. So yeah, let's just hope they, definitely come out with some energy, and come out, stronger, and take command of the game from the jump, and if they could do that, like you said, not trade baskets, control the tempo. This game is for the taking for the most part.
Yeah, the Knicks definitely should be winning this game. Honestly, I don't even think Jalen Brunson needs to go hard in this game. Like it would be great, but I think he should be able to get a break. You know, like it would be nice if the other guys, the supporting cast, can step up and you know, do what they need to do. Do you think that the Knicks are going to re-sign Tibbs, or does that depend upon because next year is going to be his last season? So do you think that he's going to get his contract renewed, or does that depend on how the Knicks do this year, or are they the front office going to look how they do next year? Or do you count his whole tenure here with the Knicks? Because in the beginning it was a little rocky. I think he has shifted this team in a better direction with the help of the front office. But do you think that they're looking at or both years, this year and the next year, and then they decide, okay, do we bring him back? Or do you even feel maybe the Knicks should go in a different direction and look for another coach?
I what he's done for them, considering just injury, and where the Knicks are at, and what he's been able to do, with his rotation, and just subbing guys out, and just again, for what he's done, and he's done a hell of a lot, and it's also, disappointing, disheartening that he's not even being mentioned, for coach of the year. They got all these other coaches thrown out. Yeah, of course you're gonna, Boston coach Mazzulo, what he's done, because where Boston is at. I mean, but
Mm,
they got guys like, yeah, Houston. These guys, they finally found their rhythm, but Tibbs has been doing this all season long. So
mm,
like, while he's not even in the mention, it's kind of disheartening, for him, because he's been able to juggle. You got three starters out. That's a lot for any team.
yeah,
No team has suffered, the injuries that, and at the same time with three starters out, and for what he's done. So I'm all for them, just bring it back. They built that chemistry. That the trust is there with the coach, and vice versa. The trust is there with the players as far as Tibbs. So it's like, why disrupt that? They can only, go get better. Once you get all your key guys back, then you're going to definitely see what they're able to do, and the impact that they will be able to make that, and the statement. So I definitely think that, again, for what he's done, I feel that they should bring him back, because you won't know, because what they've established under him. So
Mhm.
why disrupt that, and just continue on with that?
I think Tibbs is not mentioned in the mix of other coaches because unfortunately the Knicks are not a team that's still respected within the sports world and media. I think within the league, I think the Knicks are still looked at as a team that no one takes serious unless you're a Knicks fan. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And I just think that's because the Knicks haven't really won in years. And, a lot of times when we do our podcast, I will go back and say, remember when the Knicks were not a good team? And that wasn't too long ago that the Knicks weren't a good team.
yeah, for
But I
sure.
think that because the Knicks haven't been a good team for many years, when you're not a good team, no one talks about you. They only speak about the bad about you. They show highlights of other teams dunking on you and doing this against you. They use you as the laughing stock on BSPN, as Ron calls them, and all the other sports, media outlets. But I just think that the Knicks are not taken seriously. And I think until the Knicks prove that, and I keep saying this, until the Knicks prove that they're a team that are known as a playoff bound team where they make the playoffs every year, like they're known, like certain teams in the league, like they're definitely making the playoffs every year. They may not win the championship, but they're making the play. The Knicks have to become known as a playoff bound team. Like we know the Knicks make the playoffs every year. And then I think the Knicks, once they do become known as a playoff team, they got to do something when they're in the playoffs. You can't just be tickling with first round, second round. Like I think the Knicks have to be a team that each year shows growth, and they have. But I'm talking about in the postseason as well. I think they've shown growth with their regular season standings and the record. But I think when it comes to postseason, the Knicks as an organization, as a team, have to prove that they can do something when they get in when they get in the playoffs. Like you got to show, okay, Eastern Conference Finals, next championship. You got to show that you're able to move each year and progress. And I think they've proven that they're a very resilient team. They fight, and they've done a heck of a job, especially this year with all the injuries. And I think the Knicks have something to prove. I like them being the underdogs because people, I think, especially this year, are definitely talking about the Knicks. They're seeing what they're doing. And I think a big part of that is because we have Jalen Brunson and he's such a great player. And even him, he still doesn't get the respect on his name. But I
Yeah,
think that's part of the reason why Tibbs doesn't get brought up with, coach of the year or the job he's done so far with this team because while the Knicks have done great this season and had a really good season, I just think the Knicks have more to prove within the league that they're a more serious team that people can actually say, okay, we can take them seriously. And I think until they get into that, then, the Tibbs and this team is not going to really be. But I think for right now, Tibbs is okay. I think let him ride out his last year. Let's see what he does this year in the playoffs. I think the biggest things with Tibbs I'm looking for, especially in the postseason, is what is he going to do when it comes to his rotations? As far as who he's taking out, who he's putting in. We know we've had times this season where we've questioned, like, why would he take such and such player out to put this guy in? And when he gets in a post game interview, he'll say, oh, well, because I needed defense, or I needed instead of, for whatever reason it is. But I just think that that's one of the biggest things that I'm gonna be looking forward to as far as the postseason when it comes to Tibbs and what he does and any rotation changes that he needs to do defensively, offensively as a team as a whole, and then player
Mhm.
wise. So I think until the Knicks, especially this year, the Knicks have to go further than the second round.
Yeah, until
And
they're
then
advanced.
next year, the Knicks have to make the playoffs again. It can't be a stint of we made it 2022, 2023, and then we made it the next year. We made it 3 years, and then you go back to going flat. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have to be known as a playoff bound team.
But yeah, but there's coaches that are being mentioned, and they're not, they haven't done that. So it's like you said, the Knicks, they just don't get the respect that the other teams get for whatever reason. Not sure, why there's, such disrespect when it comes to the Knicks. But the players, the coaches that they're throwing out, like I think they, somebody even said, "Oh, Rick Carlisle from the Pacers." Huh? Are you for real? Like, come on. Like, you know, the Pacers are in no better shape than what we are. So again,
Yeah.
for what Tibbs has done and how he's been able to navigate, throughout all these injuries, that says a lot for him as a coach. So why he's not in the mention is baffling. But again, the Knicks gotta just continue to prove, you know, to the
Mhm.
I guess to the sports writers and whoever does this voting and so forth. And but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I mean, the Pacers are no better than we are, and I just think it's the big part of it is what I was saying though. Like people don't respect the Knicks.
Yeah.
The Knicks are truly looked at as a joke. And it's sad, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, I don't know. But again, I like them being the underdogs. I like them not getting the respect because they're gonna earn it and they're gonna prove people wrong. And I think the Knicks have a lot to show and tell and prove. And especially this season, like I said, anything could happen with these next like 13 games left on other teams. These teams could have superstars endure injuries, and that's an advantage for us because we have guys coming back from injuries when we're getting ready for the postseason. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Knicks. But yeah, anything else before we get out of here?
Yeah, like the Ross said, that 10-0 run starts today. That's right, Ross. We go to that 10-0 run, that win streak. We're gonna start us another one. We have four. Boom, we lost one. We're gonna start another win streak, and that's what it's all about. Because the Knicks is all about grit, grind, and defense, and some resiliency. So they got, I'm just excited for this game and can't wait for Mitch to come back. I mean, I can't wait for all three of them, but I'm definitely hyped for Mitch to come back. So
Yeah, same. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Knicks, but salute tonight. I'm still on tonight. Salute to this morning's chat. Salute to Ebony for joining us. Jay Singh, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Salute to Corey Lee and the 718 Boys. Salute Wonder Woman, Parish Douglas. Salute to Roz. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning. Enjoy the Nick game today.
this
We'll be
afternoon,
back. Yeah, it's an early one. It's a matinee game. We have the Knicks winning. I think we're both on the same page. Our predictions for the next four games 4-0. And yeah, we'll be back. We're here every Saturday. And then Mondays, I'm on the Queen's Court with Queen channel. So I am a panel member on Mondays on the Queen's Court at 8:30 every Monday. And then we're back Tuesdays. So two Knicks Chicks are on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Those are our days. Put your notifications bell on so you know when we're on. But I do put the thumbnail up so you guys can see what time we're coming on. Um, and yeah, those of you who are watching aren't in the chat. Thanks for watching. The replay gang, thanks for watching.
for
And
sure.
tell a friend to tell a friend about us. Um, and yeah, leave us a comment, chat with us. We're on Twitter. We'll be on more social media coming soon. And look out for guests that's going to be on the channel as well. Until next time, as Diva Lux always says, let's go Knicks. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. And we'll see you until